Good evening, everybody. It is Friday. It is about 5 to 8 in the evening, which means one thing. It is time for the Stay In Virtual Pub Quiz. Thank you all once again for joining me this week. I see we've got quite a few of you already logging in, and the comments are already coming on. Hello to everyone who is on there. Got my family are on there. Colin and Carol, thank you for joining us again. Your score came through just after I'd stopped streaming last week, but thank you very much for joining in. Vicky's back again. We've got Amy and her dream team, thank you. Naomi's back again. We've got Matt again, brilliant. Oh, we got Tim back in as well. So brilliant that everyone's coming back week after week to join in with my little virtual quiz. For those of you who are on the Facebook page, you will have seen that the picture round has been already uploaded on there. The premise is very simple this week. All I'd like you to do is name the pubs. As this is a pub quiz, just name the 10 pubs for me. Okay, we've got 4 rounds as per usual. We'll do 2 rounds, then we'll have a little interval, and that's when I'll put the picture round up on the screen for you, and then we'll come back and do our final 2 rounds. Just to let you know, our rounds this week, we're going to start off with Explorers, when we've got a round on books. We have got a round on the weather, and our final round continues our key worker theme. We're going to have a round about key workers. So those are your rounds this evening. Okay, now more comments coming in here. Graham, you've joined us again, thank you. Who's this? We've got the Woodhill Wonders from Lisgard, thank you very much. I'd like to say once again thank you for joining us on what is a lovely evening. I did consider doing the quiz outside this evening, but I think it would be a little bit dark by the time we got to the last few rounds. Maybe in a couple of weeks we can try that out, we shall see. So, as usual, the rules are, you listen to the questions, write them down, answer them. Please don't use Google. As I'm sure you're aware, you can probably finish this catchphrase off for me by now. You use Google, you'll only be cheating yourself. As we know, we're all in it for a little bit of fun. I've also got a little bit of a prize tonight as well, which I will talk about later on. So it will be a book voucher for the Lisgard bookshop, who have been very supportive in sharing details about the quiz. So thank you, Bob. So they're running a virtual bookshop at the moment, so there will be a little prize. I'll tell you details of how you can enter that later on. Okay, so I have, as usual, my firebrand here, waiting to keep me keep my voice lubricated, shall we say, throughout the evening. I hope you are all settled and comfortable. So I am ready to begin. So all I need now is the go ahead from you that you are ready to begin this evening's pub quiz. So if I could start having some ready comments coming through, it would be amazing. I'm just going to blather for a few seconds because there's a little bit of delay in the stream while I wait for the comments to come through. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this week's quiz, and cheers. There we go, Tim and Malcolm ready, Naomi ready, thank you very much. Coming through, looking over, Maddie seems ready as well, thank you Graham, you are ready. So our first round is the Explorers round. So trying to keep topical. So question 1, this is why it's topical. Details were released this week about an attempt to discover the wreck of the icebreaker called Endurance. What I would like to know is who famously captained the Endurance. So details were released this week of an attempt to discover the wreck of the icebreaker called Endurance. What I would like to know is who famously captained the Endurance. Let's check how many we've got watching this week. Just hovering above 30 this week, which is excellent. Thank you all. Yes, Mum and Dad, the shirt is back. Thank you for noticing. It was going to be a different shirt until it got a little bit wet during the children's bath time. I didn't want to appear with a soaked shirt. Anyway, moving on to question 2. Who was the first British sailor to circumnavigate the globe? Who was the first British sailor to circumnavigate the globe? Question 3. The 29th of May 1953 saw the first 2 human beings stand where? The 29th of May 1953 saw the first 2 human beings stand where? Wet t-shirt pub quiz in Tim's view. Interesting theory there. Perhaps next week we should all do a crazy shirt pub quiz, and you can all send in your pictures of your craziest shirts that you're wearing for the pub quiz. There's a challenge for you. Somebody remind me of that at some point. I'll dig out my flashy Hawaiian shirt. Question 4. Amelia Earhart was the first woman to cross the Atlantic Ocean using which form of transport? So Amelia Earhart was the first woman to cross the Atlantic Ocean using which form of transport? Take it everyone can hear me all right, since the comments are coming in. Question 5. Who was the first man to stand on the surface of the moon? Who was the first man to stand on the surface of the moon? Question 6. Which explorer gave his name to the natural passage of water in southern Chile which separates the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans? Which explorer gave his name to the natural passage of water in southern Chile which separates the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans? We've got a few comments coming in saying they like the idea of the Wacky Shirts quiz next week. Let's go for it. I know at the Tullux have been doing silly hats each week. I have seen some of those pictures come in. Very nice. I haven't seen this week's yet. Have we had any come through? We have. I'll look at those in the break. Question 7. What was the name of Captain Cook's ship which he used to explore the southern Pacific Ocean? What was the name of Captain Cook's ship which he used to explore the southern Pacific Ocean? Question 8. What was the name of the explorer in Jules Verne's novel Around the World in 80 Days? What was the name of the explorer in Jules Verne's novel Around the World in 80 Days? Question 9 is a bit of a wordy one here. So, which female journalist, who famously pretended to be insane so that she could report on conditions in an asylum, attempted to beat the record set in Jules Verne's novel and actually managed to travel round the world in 72 days? Told you it was wordy. So, which female journalist, who famously pretended to be insane so she could report on conditions inside an asylum, tried to beat the record in Jules Verne's novel and managed to travel round the world in 72 days? And finally, in our explorers round, explorers in Castleton, which is in Derbyshire, discovered the UK's largest and deepest what in November 2006? Explorers in Castleton, which is in Derbyshire, discovered the UK's largest and deepest what in November 2006? So that concludes the first round. I'll give you a few moments to have a discuss, whether it's somebody in the room or whether you're video chatting with somebody or whatever. So just finalise your answers for that round before we move on to our next round. Okay, so our second round is about books. Okay, so I was reading a news report yesterday saying that sales of books have risen, apparently, over the last few weeks as people are in lockdown and are reading more, which I think is a good thing in my view. So I thought we'd do a round on books. Here we go. I hope we're not using Google. I've just seen a comment flash up there. You know who you're cheating. So, question 1 on the books round. Which husband and wife team are going to present a book club on Channel 4 called Keep Reading and Carry On? Which husband and wife team are going to present a book club on Channel 4 called Keep Reading and Carry On? Question 2. I'm going to read you the opening line from a famous book. All I'd like to know is what is the title of the book, and I would like you to be specific with it, please. So here is the opening line. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. That's the opening line from which book? Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. Opening line for which book? Question 3. According to the Guinness Book of Records, what is the best-selling book of all time? And apparently, it has sold over 5 billion copies. So according to the Guinness Book of Records, what is the best-selling book of all time? And it sold over 5 billion copies. Well done, Amy. I thought you might get that opening line. Thought I'd slip one in there that you might get. Looking at Maddie. Oh, she thinks maybe. Now, I'm not drinking lager, Dad. It's Firebrand Brewery, which is up near Launceston, is what I've been drinking for the last few weeks. They do some lovely IPAs. I got a mixed case a few weeks ago. I can't remember which one this is. I'll show you in a few minutes. I'll bring the cans out. Question 4. Sir Lee Teabing was a character in which 2003 thriller novel? Sir Lee Teabing was a character in which 2003 novel? It's a thriller novel. So. Lee Teabing. Views are creeping up at the moment. Thank you to those of you who've just joined us. You can always rewind this and watch it from the start if you missed the beginning. Question 5. Which classic novel tells the tale of the Dashwood sisters as they come of age? Which classic novel tells the tale of the Dashwood sisters as they come of age. Question 6. Which children's book, published in 1950, topped a 2019 poll to find the nation's favourite book? Which children's book, published in 1950, topped a 2019 poll took, which was more than any other book? Question 7. Which title completes Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy? So you've got Northern Lights, Subtle Knife, and what was the third title? So which title completes Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy? Northern Lights, Subtle Knife, and Question 8. Captain John Yossarian was a central character in which novel? Captain John Yossarian was a central character in which novel? One of the greatest novels of the 20th century. He's a bit obscure for you, are they, Graham?
A bit.
Oh, Maddie says they're obscure as well. Oh dear. Question 9. The best-selling children's book, The Beast of Buckingham Palace, was written by which author? The best-selling children's book, The Beast of Buckingham Palace, was written by which author? Okay, as you probably noticed, I've just finished my drink, just in time for question 10 of this round. So final question before we have our little break. Question 10. The Motorcycle Diaries is a memoir of the early travels of which revolutionary? The Motorcycle Diaries is a memoir of the early travels of which revolutionary? Okay, so it's about 25 past 8. We've finished our first 2 rounds. So we had our Explorers round, and then our Obscure Books round, as Graham may think. Hopefully some of you didn't find those books so obscure. I thought they were quite well-known ones. It might just be me. So we'll have our little break, chance to top up your glasses, use the facilities. I shall pop up the picture round for you before I leave. I'll top up my glass. So all you have to do in the picture round is name the pub. 10 pubs on your screen now. I'd like to know the name of these 10 pubs. Right, I shall bid you farewell for a few minutes, and I shall speak to you soon. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome back. Just I've had a few comments about these pub names. They're all reasonably common pub names. They're all in the top 50 most common pub names in Britain. So they shouldn't be too obscure. Possibly the way I presented them might be a bit obscure. But yeah, hopefully you get them. Yeah, so let's go through the answers to the first two rounds, and we'll see how we've got on with those. I think it's a mixed bag as usual. As Chris Tarrant always said, it's only easier if you know the answer. It may be that a lot of you didn't know the answers this week, sorry. But let's go through some answers anyway. So round one was our Explorers round. So the icebreaker Endurance was captained by Shackleton. Question 2. The first British sailor to circumnavigate the globe was Sir Francis Drake. 29th of May 1953 saw the first two humans stand on the summit of Everest. Question 4. Amelia Earhart. She crossed the Atlantic in an aeroplane. Question 5. The first man to stand on the surface of the moon was Neil Armstrong. Question 6. The explorer who gave his name to the natural passage in southern Chile that connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans is Magellan. It's the Magellan Straits. Question 7. Captain Cook's ship was the Endeavour. Question 8. The explorer in Around the World in 80 Days is Phileas Fogg. The journalist who beat that record by going around the world in 72 days was Nellie Bly. If anyone put down Elizabeth Seaman, then that is her born name, but her pen name was Nellie Bly. That's what she is better known as. Maddie's shrugging her shoulders. I thought she was really famous. Maybe it's just me. Anybody else heard of Nellie Bly? Just give me a comment if you have. And question 10. The explorers in Castleton in Derbyshire discovered the UK's largest and deepest cave. It's the Titan Cave. Okay, then we moved on to our books round. Okay, so question 1. The husband and wife team will present a book club on Channel 4, is Richard and Judy. Question 2. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal, thank you very much, is the opening line of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now, lots of people have never heard of good old Nellie, apart from Amy, who has. So well done, Amy.
Shows what they teach in schools these days, doesn't it?
Right, it shows what we teach in schools these days. I've never taught about her in school.
The teachers that know.
Okay. Question 3. According to the Guinness Book of Records, the best-selling book of all time is the Bible. Question 4. So Lee Teabing is a character in the Da Vinci Code. Question 5. The classic novel, which tells the tale of the Dashwood sisters, is Sense and Sensibility. Question 6. The children's book, published in 1950, that topped a poll to find the nation's favourite book, is The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Question 7. His Dark Materials trilogy is made up of Northern Lights, The Subtle Knife and The Amber Spyglass. Question 8. Captain John Yossarian is a central character in Catch-22. Question 9. The Feast of Buckingham Palace was written by David Walliams. And question 10. Excuse me. The Motorcycle Diaries is the memoir of Che Guevara. So there we go on those answers. We shall move on in a moment. Let me find the next questions. And more importantly, let me find my face. There we go. So, yeah, it's a very mixed bag there going on. Got 2 more rounds to go. Our weather round and our key worker round. This is for Dad. This is what I'm drinking. Where is it there? So it is Citra Simcoe, Firebrand Brewing. It's a New England IPA. Really nice. You can try some next time you're down, if you're ever allowed down again after lockdown. Yes, I did mention earlier that I got a book voucher for the Discard Bookshop. There's a little prize today. So it's a £10 voucher. It can be used online. I think you just have to phone up the shop possibly. I'll contact the winner to tell you how to use it. All I would like you to do is, hopefully this will work now. There's an email address on the screen, stclearquizzes@gmail.com. So stclearquizzes@gmail.com. And our Facebook page is facebook.com/St Clear Quizzes. I would like a picture of your answers from tonight, and I will randomly select somebody from that and get in touch, and I'll announce the winner on Facebook later on. So it's a little bit of a lucky dip. I've got a program here where I input everyone's names and it randomly flashes up somebody. So send me a picture of your answer sheet and you could be winning a book voucher for the Liscard Bookshop. So yeah, stclearquizzes@gmail.com, or if you prefer you could send it to me via Facebook Messenger via our Facebook page, facebook.com/St Clear Quizzes. So I shall leave that up there for a few minutes, and I'll flash up those addresses at the end as well, so you can send me the picture once you're finished. Right, I'm going to ask you again to let me know when you are ready, so that we can move on with round 3, which is going to be all about the weather. And since we've been experiencing some lovely weather over the last few days, we thought we'd do a weather round. Hopefully it's a bit easier than the last few rounds, given the looks I'm getting from across the living room. It's not actually product placement, Tim, because I'm not being paid to do it. Just answering my dad's question. Okay, here we go with round 3, all about the weather. Okay, England's wettest inhabited place can be found in which county? England's wettest inhabited place can be found in which county? Question 2. Huntingdon Warren on Dartmoor saw a record 68 inches of what on the 16th of February 1929? Huntingdon Warren on Dartmoor saw a record 68 inches of what on the 16th of February 1929. I was absolutely astonished when I read that this week. Well done, Graham, for getting Che Guevara right. Question 3. Stratus, cirrus and cumulus are all types of what? Stratus, cirrus and cumulus are all types of what? My phone's buzzing like mad tonight. I don't know who's sending messages. Question 4. The driest place on Earth has not seen rain or any type of precipitation in about 14 million years. Where is that place? So the driest place on Earth has not seen any rain or any form of precipitation in about 14 million years. Where is that place? The general area is what I'm looking for, not a very specific place. Question 5. An anemometer is used to measure what? An anemometer is used to measure what? Always struggle to say that. Anemometer. Well done, Jane, for catching up. I presume you joined us late and have caught up. Thank you very much for joining us. Question 6. So I'm looking for an ology here. So what is the study of weather and atmospheric pressure called? What is the study of weather and atmospheric pressure called? And it's an ology. Oh, it's Jane from Scotland. I had a message that you were joining in today. Thank you for joining us all the way from Scotland. You must definitely be in a different time zone. Is this round going any better for anybody, by the way? Question 7. If the temperature outside was minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, what would the temperature be in centigrade? If the temperature outside was minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, what would the temperature be in centigrade? I'm getting a strange look from Maddie about this question. No multiple choices, Tim. Question 8. How many sides does a snowflake have? How many sides does a snowflake have? Question 9. Which shipping forecast area is found in the Bristol Channel? Which shipping forecast area is found in the Bristol Channel? And question 10, a little bit of a local link here. Sorry, I should have asked earlier. Any of my regulars from the stag playing along tonight? Haven't seen any comments yet, I don't think. Sorry if I've missed any. Just say hi if you are any of my regulars. But question 10. Which West Country term is used to describe a combination of rain and thick fog? Which West Country term is used to describe a combination of rain and thick fog? So looking at my question, it's a combination of fine rain and thick fog, if that makes a difference to your thinking. Combination of fine rain and thick fog. There's lots of it here in St. Clear. And the next round. So our final round is our key workers round. Okay, so I did doctors the first week, nurses last week. I couldn't think of a whole round to do with another key worker. So all the answers to these questions are key workers as described by the government. A few liberties in the titles here, there and everywhere. Okay. So, question 1. Stuart Copeland and Andy Summers were members of which band from the 70s and 80s? Stuart Copeland and Andy Summers were members of which band from the 70s and 80s? Oh, Mal and Sandra, thank you for joining me. Some of my regulars, thank you. Mum, question 8 was how many sides does a snowflake have? Well, I've just seen that Tim has updated you on that if you're looking at the chat. And Graham has as well. Thank you, Tim and Graham, for keeping me going. Question 2. Which brand of whiskey produces the Highland Cream blend? Which brand of whiskey produces the Highland Cream blend? Jane, they did produce an excellent social distancing song, actually. I've heard that many times over the last few weeks. Question 3. Lonnie Donegan had a hit in 1960 with a song about his old man. What key worker was his old man? So Lonnie Donegan had a hit in 1960 about his old man. What key worker was his old man? Correction, it was Faye who helped out, not Tim, so thank you, Faye. Question 4. The character of Ron Burgundy, as played by Will Ferrell in a 2004 film, does what for a living? The character of Ron Burgundy, as played by Will Ferrell in a 2004 film, does what for a living? I'm glad you like this round, Graham. Question 5. The NFU is the largest union for which occupation? The NFU is the largest union for which occupation? Jane, I would love to think that ELF is an essential worker, but unfortunately it is not. Although we do know that the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny are key workers, so you never know, an elf might be. I have to ask the New Zealand Prime Minister, whose name has escaped me at this moment in time. Pardon? Jacinta Riding? Don't know. I'm sure somebody will tell me in a moment. Okay, question 6. James Herriot wrote a series of autobiographical books about his time as a what? James Herriot wrote a series of autobiographical books about his time as a what? I can't really hear what you're saying. I can't see it now. I could find it on here. Oh no, not some National Elf Service jokes coming through. Oh dear. Colin joining in, and an elf is essential to Santa. I'm sure if we're still in lockdown come December, an elf and Santa will both be classed as essential workers. Question 7. According to the book and the film of the same name, who always rings twice? According to the book and the film of the same name, Who always rings twice? Yeah, it's Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand. Maddie was right. If only that was a question on the quiz, eh, Maddie? Right, question 8. What is the seventh book of the Old Testament? What is the seventh book of the Old Testament? Not going to mention that comment, Mum. You might jinx it. Question 9. The 2012 BBC drama Syndicate tells the story of a lottery-winning syndicate who all worked where? So the 2012 BBC drama Syndicate tells the story of a lottery-winning syndicate of people who all worked where? For anyone who is a real fan of this programme, I'm talking about the first series that had Timothy Spall in it. And the final question of the evening. I'm sure we've all heard of the book and the subsequent film, Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. Which one of those is on the key worker list? Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. Which one of those is on the key worker list? Okay, so that brings us to the end of the questions for the evening, just before 9 o'clock. What I will do is I will pop up the picture round for a couple of minutes in case you want another look at those to finalise any answers, and then I'll be back with the answers to the picture round first and then rounds 3 and 4. Here comes the picture round again. Okay, I'm back. So the name the pubs are up on the screen. So I'll put the answers to those up on the screen as usual in a moment. Just say, Heather, I've just had your message. Well done that you knew about good old Nelly. So it's not just Amy and her team who knew that. Okay.
Still in the school.
Well, she's still in school apparently. Maddie's complaining about this. Okay. Name the pub's answers coming up in a few seconds. I'm just going to wait for a few ready comments. Then I'll put them up. They're all well-known pubs. Maddie's raising her eyebrows at me. So, waiting for some comments. This 30-second delay is quite long. There you go, Tim's ready. I'll take that. Here we go, so your emojis are going to disappear and the answers will appear. Here we go. Number 1, Elephant and Castle. Number 2, Waterloo. Number 3, Coach and Horses. Number 4, Rising Sun. Number 5, King's Arms. 6, Cross Keys. 7, Hare and Hounds. 8, Prince of Wales. 9, Royal Oak. 10, Brewer's Arms. Brewer's Arms. Sorry, I couldn't resist putting that in there. So, those are your answers to the name the pubs. As you know by now, I'm a big supporter of pubs. So, here comes my ugly mug again. There we go. So, I'm going to read through the answers to rounds 3 and 4. I'm just going to pop up the email addresses again. stclearquizzes@gmail.com, and if you want to private message me, facebook.com/stclearquizzes. Send me a picture of your answer sheet and I shall randomly draw a winner using my little program here, and then you shall win a book voucher for the Listgard Bookshop, £10 to get yourself a book sent out to yourself. Latte 2R's arms is not right, I'm afraid, Tim, but Maddie is complaining it is a cup of coffee, not a cup of tea as well. Closest I could get. There you go. Mal and Sandra thought it was builder's tea. There you go. Anyway, round 3 was our weather round. Here are your answers. Question 1. England's wettest inhabited place is in Cumbria. Question 2. Huntington Warren on Dartmoor saw 68 inches of snow on the 16th of February 1929. Not frogs, Tim. I think that was relating to that question. Tim and Faye, I should say, sorry. Question 3. Stratus, cirrus and cumulus are all types of clouds. Question 4. Well done, Les, for getting that. Was that the Brewer's Arms you got right? Question 4. The driest place on Earth is in Antarctica. There's a valley in Antarctica where it hasn't rained for 14 million years, apparently. Question 5. An anemometer measures wind speed. Question 6. The study of weather and atmospheric pressure is meteorology. Question 7. If the temperature outside is minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, it is minus 40 degrees centigrade. It is the point at which they are both equal. Maddie apparently got that one right. Question 8. A snowflake has 6 sides. Question 9. The shipping forecast area in the Bristol Channel is Lundy. And question 10. The West Country term for fine rain and heavy fog is mizzle. Loads of that in St. Clear, but not at the moment, thankfully. And then we moved on to our final round, which is our key workers round. So all your answers are key workers. Question 1. Stuart Copeland and Andy Summers were members of police. Question 2. The whiskey brand, which produces the Highland Cream Blend, is Teachers. Question 3. Lonnie Donegan, my old man's a dustman. So dustman or something along those lines. So I'm in real trouble with Faye this evening. It's because Tim's name keeps flashing up. Question 4. Ron Burgundy, he was in the film Anchorman. So something along the lines of Anchorman, newsreader, journalist. They all count as key workers apparently. Question 5. The NFU is the biggest union for farmers. Question 6. James Herriot wrote some books about his time as a vet. Question 7. The book and the film, according to them, it is The Postman Who Always Rings Twice. Apparently a postman used to knock once if there was a delivery and knock twice if there was an urgent delivery. I learned that this week when I was researching the quiz. Question 8. The 7th book of the Old Testament is Judges. Question 9. The 2012 drama Syndicate is about some supermarket workers. And finally, question 10. Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. The only one on the key workers list is a soldier. Although I suspect spies may still be up to their business. But the soldier is on the list. So that draws our evening to an end. Hopefully you still enjoyed it. So yeah, if you want to start sending through any scores that you've got on the comments, it would be lovely. Let's see how we've got on this week. I've seen some half-time scores coming through, kind of middle of the road by the looks of it, so maybe not as hard as some of you said. Yeah, so send your scores through and I can read some out as soon as I get some. And remember, if you'd like to be in the chance to win a £10 book voucher from This Guide Bookshop, just email me a picture of your answer sheet to stclearquizzes@gmail.com or message me on facebook.com/stclearquizzes. And then I shall draw it out. It doesn't matter where you live, you still can send it. Use the voucher because they will send out the book to you. Okay, so I'm starting to see some scores coming in. Colin's got 45. Well done, Colin. 41. Malcolm and Co. there. Is that both different Malcolms there I'm getting in? Laura, Malcolm commented earlier. Well done. Simon's got a 47 from Three's a Crowd in Newcastle. Thank you very much. Heather, you flashed through on my phone here. 37. Well done. Well done. 37 for Graham and Co. Rounds 3 and 4 saved you. So, and the pictures. Well done. I thought I'd put those two rounds at the end because they were slightly easier, I thought. Faye has got 34. Remembered who it was commenting. Well done. What's this? 39 from My Lady, which is the Woodhill Wonders. Well done. Oh, Jane is claiming 84 because they count differently in Scotland. Oh, that explains a lot, doesn't it? Vicky's on a 41. So some really good scores coming through, despite my fears over the comments that I was getting after the first 2 rounds. So well done, everybody. Yeah, so it just leaves me to say, as usual, thank you so much for joining in. I really enjoy doing these things, even though it's just me looking at this little camera up here. yeah, so thank you for giving up your Friday nights to watch me. Thank you to all my regulars who I saw at the stag. Thank you to all my work colleagues who are joining in, family who are spread out in different parts of the country, and of course anyone else who's heard of this because you've seen it on social media or somebody's passed it on to you. Right, I'll be back next week at same time, same place. I know there will definitely be a geography round next week. That has been requested and I've already written that. As for the other rounds, I'm not quite sure yet. Might see what's in the news this week that isn't related to the C word. Yes, so thank you very much, and I'll end by saying please remember to send through your picture so you can be in the draw. I'll announce the winner on the Facebook page, and in true YouTuber style, please subscribe to the channel and like the Facebook page so you can get all the links and things that you need for next week's quiz. And the final thing for me to say is just good night and enjoy the rest of your Friday evening. Thank you very much, and I shall speak to you all again next week, hopefully. Goodbye.